Those morphing man-eating monsters are shaking things up again in the dusty little town of Perfection, Nevada. And survivalist Burt Gummer, Michael Gross, is the only solution to the latest in evolution.
I didn't realize it rhymed.
They got the exclamation point there. I gotta read it that way. Aided by a couple of young local entrepreneurs, Sean Christian and Susan Chuan, Burt puts his impressive knowledge of weaponry against the newest and deadliest generation of graboids. If Burt and his new partners can't find a way to stop them, then the creatures that put Perfection on the map will wipe it right off the face of the earth. Tremors 3 promises earth-shaking, explosive, edge-of-your-seat entertainment.
Oh! So, Tremors 3, I think this might have aired on the Sci-Fi Channel.
I'm almost positive it did.
Because Universal, NBC Universal, they own Sci-Fi Channel.
It was, as Tony likes to say, it was a promotional material for Tremors the series.
It ended up, so turns out I was kind of wrong about that. It wasn't
really?
intent, as far as I can tell, because this is 2001, the series is 2003. So I think because this probably did really well on Sci-Fi Channel, they ended up using it to launch the series. Yeah. Yes. Because Tremors 4 was being made the same time as the series.
Right.
So Sci-Fi Channel was going all in on Tremors. And
they're hits, respectively.
Yes. This one, look, it's definitely a step down from 2, but it's still a lot of fun.
It's fun.
They managed to get a lot of people back. Ariana Richards comes back.
I couldn't believe that.
The actress who plays her mom comes back in this, but not the TV show. They swap her out for the TV show. The kid comes back.
Melvin.
Yeah, from the
And
Applegates.
I love how he's like such a shit heel, and it's like you almost think he's gonna get it by the end, but like you're kind of satisfied with what happens to him.
Yes. So this is years now. It's been like 11 years since they showed up in Perfection.
Now everybody knows about them. It's it's like a phenomenon.
Miguel also comes back from the first.
Yes,
that's right. One of the other survivors.
Yeah. So Bert, it opens up with him in Argentina, I think.
Yes.
Just lighting up shriekers.
He's like a howitzer or something.
Yes.
What is that?
He's just lighting up shriekers, and you start to notice the dip in CGI. You're like, okay.
Well, that's why that was a night vision scene, Tony.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, but when you see El Blanco, it's
so this is like, okay, this is the direct-to-video CGI that I'm used to.
Yeah.
Tremors 2, just a step above. This one, it's like, okay.
This is your patented sci-fi shit channel.
Yes.
CG.
Yes. Luckily, it's kind of used quickly. They don't linger too much for some of them.
They're smart about a lot of it, but sometimes they just kind of have to show it.
Yeah.
And
That one takeoff of the ass blaster is like real fucking bad.
So Perfection is now a tourist attraction. By the way, it turns at the end of 2, Grady and Earl joke about making a monster theme park, and then they do.
They
Monster
do.
World.
So that's why they're not here. Turns out Chang had a daughter. And she's here.
Yep, and she gets to name this
Susan.
the new monster.
Yes.
Yeah.
The new form.
So she's running, and her character shows up in the series, again, played by someone else.
She's there
Okay.
specifically to cash in on the graboid phenomenon.
Yes.
Well, we were talking again on that Texas Chainsaw episode. I think you or Joe had brought that up. That it's like, oh, they're monetizing Leatherface, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, the town is a tourist attraction. We were talking before the episode, and you can look up high-res images of these. The person who made them posted on a website. There are Dark Horse Tremors comics, which we were talking, I can't believe didn't actually exist.
How didn't we get that?
Wow.
How didn't we get those?
But it's so, because if you grew up with Dark Horse comics in the 90s, do we even have, and like I have Alien's pig here.
But especially Dark Horse handling Tremors, like
Yes.
it's going to be a bloody good time.
So it's graboids, shriekers, and then at the bottom it's graboids versus shriekers, but with the alien versus predator
Oh my
versus.
God. I thought for sure those were real.
it was the same font too.
Yeah. So Bert is kind of a celebrity. This one's the most like self-aware of them.
Yeah.
I do love when the kid's like, get a picture of me with the tremor. And then the guy Jack is like, it's a graboid.
Yeah, bro, this guy's a piece of shit in this movie.
Yeah.
I don't hate him though. He's
Yeah.
entertaining.
So it turns out this Jack guy has these graboid tours. And what it is like he drives them around, and then his friend fakes that graboids are. It's actually pretty clever how they have like the fence post coming down.
Yeah.
And what he does is he traps them on a rock and then forces them to buy refreshment.
Yeah, beer.
That's pretty funny.
It's pretty funny.
It's in line with the comedy from the past two.
Yes.
Sure.
And meanwhile, Burt Gummer has like his fucking Batman like cave now and his bomb shelter with computers and everything and the seismographs.
Yes.
He's got like 4-foot thick concrete steel reinforced walls around the perimeter of the house.
Plenty of food.
Like a moat.
Yeah. It's like a moat. Yeah. And then Ariana Richards is back in town.
Yeah.
And she's not happy about it. But then Graboids attack.
There's also this weird like Moby Dick thing kind of going on in this one
Yeah,
too.
so this introduces El Blanco,
The great white graboid.
who ends up being a character. All right, so one of the other plot points is like the government's trying to get involved because they're
Right.
like they're endangered species and
Yeah.
whatnot. And Melvin wants to come in and like level the town and build like stuff. So Bert's dealing with a lot, and he hates authority.
Sure does.
He really does. The best scene for me is when the government like shows up and starts. They all think they're getting arrested for different things.
My cousin, he already went back to Mexico.
I've already filed.
The
for
right
my
of the
business
people to
license.
keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Department of the Interior.
El Blanco turns out to be it's sterile because it's albino.
Yeah.
And because of that, it does not turn into a shrieker show. It's old. This gets explored more in the show.
Yeah, but
kind
it's
of.
also
Okay.
but it becomes protected, doesn't it?
Yes, because spoiler for we'll get in more into
Yeah.
the movie, but at the end, as long as there's one graboid around, they technically have two at the end.
Yeah.
As long as there's animals there, they're considered endangered and it's a protected area, so Melvin can't build his
Right.
stuff. So they keep El Blanco around, but he's not like good. He just
Benign question mark?
yes, they kind of direct him into helping them.
Yeah.
So that's like a TV show thing then, I'm
He
assuming?
ends up becoming a recurring
Okay,
character.
because I was
Yeah.
kind of like annoyed in the sequels and the movies. I was like, why did that not come back? Like, that was
like,
weird.
There's like weird mutations and shit.
Well, there's doctors that like mess with their DNA.
Yeah, I think Christopher
It
Lloyd's
is
in it
weird
at one
because,
point.
because the first season was canceled. I think because it was too expensive to make, actually.
Go figure.
But they still haven't gone back to what happened to El Blanco in the sequels. I guess you just assume it died.
I mean, we're talking about it kind of this whole episode so far, but like the effects talking about going down, nosediving
yeah,
in
the
this film.
CGI
El Blanco looks horrible.
the practical graboids, I think, still look fine, but yeah, the CGI
It's bad.
really
Right, because
bad.
there's a couple that they actually, manhandle a little bit
Yeah.
and move around with their weapons. And
Yeah.
those look awesome.
Well,
but
Bert does get eaten at one point.
Yes, which ends
is
up
really
becoming
cool.
a plot point
Yeah.
in later sequels.
yeah, he calls what's his face up, and he's like, "Yeah, I got about 30 seconds of air."
That actually
Chase
is cool
this
scene
thing
where
down.
it hits his bunker and
Yes.
dies, and then they have to
he's still
chainsaw the
inside,
ground
and then they
together.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That was great.
It's still a fun time, effects aside.
Yeah.
Because the Burt character is still really, really funny.
Yes.
It's funny to see the old characters come back. We get a new evolution.
Yes.
The Shriekers, because he's been killing them pretty quick, and he's never had them alive for a few days, so they turn into the Ass Blasters.
They shed their skin. They almost molt into
Yes,
these
they
things.
molt. It looks like when you find like a cicada shell.
Yeah, yeah.
So what
Or
it
an
is,
alien.
huh?
Or an alien.
Or an alien. So the idea is that they finally turn into the Ass Blasters, and they can fly to new areas and drop eggs because they
It's-
find an egg earlier in the movie.
This is even more apropos for McConaughey now because it has it has two glands in its ass that fucking makes the fire that
It's got
explodes.
two glands.
It's got two glands in its
It's
ass.
a reverse
Takes a dump
dragon.
on the ground,
Yeah.
fucking blows itself.
In fact,
Well-
they call them something dragon related, possibly in the next film.
Next one.
Yes.
Well, this is 2001. What Reign of Fire was 2000?
Yeah. It's
gotta be in the
2001?
pocket.
I think
right?
it's 2000. I think it's literally 2001.
Yeah. The Ass Blasters are cool. Their CGI model isn't the best.
It's reboot levels of CGI, man.
Yes.
It's bad.
But I like the idea, like that's how they go from area to area. They blast off and then drop their eggs and take off.
Yeah, it's cool though because like so when the worms turn and the shriekers come out, they're on foot for as far as they can go.
Yeah.
They're
Then
like
they molt-
vultures that kind of look like, I would
yeah.
say.
But then they fly again. Well, then they fly, and inside a ass blaster is an egg, and inside the egg is a little worm.
Yes.
So
And what I love is it like is eating stuff in the groceries, the market.
yeah,
And Bert is like, oh no, if they eat, he assumes that when they eat, they're gonna reproduce. So they make it into his house, and he ends up blowing them all up so they don't eat his food. And then you find out, she's like, when they eat, they go into a coma.
Yeah.
And he's just like, why do I never know the things I need to know?
yeah. And that's how you get confirmation of their life cycle. They have the three forms, and then the final flying one drops the
Yes.
egg, and they go back all the way around.
Yes. And it's a fun evolution. I think the movie's fine and fun. The CGI is pretty rough, but you still get, like, each of these movies are kind of formulaic. It's like, oh, the graboid has made another evolution. We have to rethink our strategy. How are we going to do it? And this is pretty funny too. I like how they managed to get one eaten by El Blanco.
Oh yeah.
Because there's like a watch that drives El Blanco crazy, and they figure it out.
They put it on the ass blaster and make him eat it or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then at the end, they have one ass blaster caged up, and then El Blanco just roams.
Yeah.
And it leads into the series. But yeah, Tremors 3, I've always have a soft spot for it. Like, I don't hate it. I recognize that it's not great.
I like it equally as much as I like the second one for different reasons. Like, there's things in both of those movies I really like, and there's things in both those movies I'm like, I could have done without.
And we should say Bert is the star now.
Oh, 100%.
100%.
And
I think it says Michael Gross now at the top of the box.
Yes, it does.
There's just like, little things in 3 that I like because they go back to the first town, and you actually have like. I kind of felt bad. It's like, oh, you brought him back just to kill him, but Miguel kind of has a good story arc. Yeah. And he gets like kind of taken out in a real shitty way, like dropped 50 feet off a ledge.
Yeah. That was sad.
But I like that kind of stuff. Like, you don't get Fred Ward anymore because the second one's in Mexico. But this was a fun one for sure.
I do like how they're in the desert and now they fly with heat vision, so they just have like that big thing over them. So
on the mattress, to hide.
Now, before we move on to the next ones, we should probably talk not too much in detail, just a fun aside about the TV show.
Yeah.
The TV show does kind of follow from Tremors 3. So Jody's still there. I think Jack, the graboid guy, he gets replaced by, not different actor, I think a different character takes over his touring thing, I believe.
And then Gladys Jimenez comes in.
Yeah.
I don't know what she's doing there. Is she like working on, maybe she's opening a shop or something?
I don't know, but what might help is the back of the DVD case.
Oh, there you go. Oh, I'm sorry.
This is the last DVD, because this is like a compilation one and it doesn't have any in the back. Here we go. If you're curious about the one thing about this, they aired it out of order originally.
I didn't know that. You told me that.
Why does that always happen?
I don't know.
The studio wants like the more action-y packed ones in the front, but then
to
like
front load it,
if they were filmed out of order, then you're losing character stuff, and it's a whole thing. Look,
as an audience member, you're sitting there by the second or third episode. You have no fucking clue what's happening. You don't give a shit or whine your watch. You're just turning off.
Firefly fans are all too familiar with this.
That was the one I was thinking of.
Life in Perfection, Nevada isn't so perfect since the small town developed a very big problem with man-eating morphing monsters. Luckily, the residents are up to the challenge in every earth-shaking, action-packed episode of Tremors included in this 3-disc set. Inspired by the movies that have become beloved cult classics, this fun, thrilling TV series reveals more of the down and dirty battles as the locals attempt to coexist with the graboids, shriekers, and ass blasters, now on the protected species list, including a particularly large graboid nicknamed El Blanco. Add to the craziness combination of secret labs, the gene-blending mixmaster, and the occasional fanatical tourist, and there's never a dull moment in perfection. Fun TV series.
Yes.
I guess
effects aren't that great.
Effects aren't that great. I guess it was too expensive to do. They pulled it, but at the same time, they were doing Tremors 4. And now we can get into Tremors 4.